小夫大儿吗？
校门口外面。
还有吗？
说是在外面找了个人。
老大，你真的把他女朋友搞了呀？
他哥儿都自满啊，想搞个理由打架。
Featured an interesting range of emotions and approaches I thought were quite strong. There was the emotional construct around our central character, him trying to deal with what was a lifelong experience of bullying, feeling less than, having other worse influences sort of dictating his life, and not feeling like he was a man, especially in the context of the relationship with his own mother, and being able to protect her, and watching him sort of grow and change over the course of the narrative. So ultimately, the sequences towards the end in which he finally fights back. I think the narrative had a very sort of deliberate pacing and an approach to cinematography that it created an emotional depth that didn't make the journey feel cheap and sort of let you get invested into the central character's experience and allowed for the ending to work, I thought, in the way that it intended, and allowed the piece to feel like a fully realized idea, even though it was only a half an hour long. So I thought it was well done. It had a consistent approach to set design and costume design that I thought was very authentic, and I thought it just felt like a very natural piece that made it easy to get into.
We have this this lead character who is lost in a world of bullying and being bullied, and we sort of get to see this journey of him, embracing this toxic masculinity and holding charge of this homophobia that he carries. And deep down, we really just get to see the fear of acceptance that he potentially has in himself. We see this character and we see him have this one-on-one altercation and this encounter that is abusive yet sensual. And you can kind of see this internal battle, so to speak, that our lead character is presenting himself with. And rather than being shy and taking things with kindness, it's actually more anger and rage, or so it seems. At the end of the film, you sort of see in fine print of how this is supposed to showcase on mental health and the LGBTQIA plus community, and how these instances happen not only in the Chinese community, but in their education systems. And so it kind of just puts a spotlight of how this issue can affect people in this community.
Sexual preference, sexual orientation, identity, but also bullying and abuse. What was fascinating about this movie was it was told from the lens of one of the bullies. You saw the world from that lens. Normally, a lot of these movies, it'd be a tale of rising above your perpetrators, overcoming your abusers. But I found it so fascinating seeing this from that lens, especially the fact that this bully himself was going through an identity crisis. He was being bullied for being gay. You could tell there was that jealousy that despite the fact that he was being bullied, he was free. He wasn't hiding who he was. And you see all these different elements of the bullying, in the sense of some people will do it because they want to feel powerful. Other people do it because they want to gain that sense of control where they may not have it at home. There were so many gray elements to it. And I loved that message of, you need to stand up for what's right, because if not, you're a coward.
really, really powerful and quite intense, and such an interesting story about coming of age and coming into yourself, and also dealing with extreme pressures and presence from outside of just you kind of trying to figure out what kind of person you are and who you are and who you want to be. Um, whether that's dealing with peer pressure in social circles at school or stuff at home that could be complicated. Um, like I said, and that's all of that on top of trying to figure out who you are and what type of person you want to be. I loved the pace of the story. I thought it moved really, really well. I thought you were able to connect ultimately with both characters and bond and have empathy and have compassion for both of them, which I thought was really impressive and really fantastic. So I really liked it overall. I thought it, like I said, it was kind of a big story because it took on a lot of things. But again, when you're at this kind of coming of age into, you know, who you're going to be moving forward from that, trying to define who you are, I think that you often go through really big things, and it can be big years. So it being a big story, I think really fit.
I do think the story is one that's very powerful. Bullying is a severe issue, especially at the level that it happened on in this movie. I do love that the score is consistent throughout the same when the bullying happens, when things happen. It's that very familiar classical tune. It's a score that we all know, that we all grew up with, so we know with that our brains automatically say something's about to happen when we hear that music. This story does have a good premise with two boys, one who's afraid to come out and one who is out and being bullied. It's one that shows you just how far it will go and how bad it can be